Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be giving my match predictions for Week 18 Premier League fixtures, and I think we're in for some amazing results which are going to occur. In Week 17, we saw it all. We saw teams like Tottenham come back yet again from a 2-0 deficit to draw against Brentford in the London derby 2-2. We saw Arsenal also come back against the Hammers from a 1-0 deficit, winning 3-1 at the Emirates, keeping their unbeaten record at their stadium. We saw Liverpool continue winning ways, beating Aston Villa 3-1 away from home at Villa Park. So I'm telling you, we're going to be seeing some unpredictable results. We still know the World Cup FIFA is still there, so some players might be tired, jaded, some players still might be rusty, who knows. But Week 18, I'm telling you, is going to be an exciting prospect, and let's see what's going to happen. And we got some interesting fixtures. We've got Liverpool versus Leicester City. We know Brendan Rodgers is returning back to Anfield, where he made a name for himself on the big stage. We also got teams like Tottenham playing Aston Villa at home. Will they be unpredictable again and potentially get a draw or win? Can we see teams like Wolves beating Manchester United at home at Molineux, with Lopetegui getting his first win as a manager at Wolves? Let's see what's going to happen. However, before going to this video and give my predictions, you know I'm going to say, make sure you guys like, comment, and hit that big subscribe button right there. And make sure you guys in the comment section give me your own predictions. Who do you think is going to win in Week 18 Premier League fixtures? So the first game I'm going to be predicting, it has to be this. It's the biggest game of the week. It is Liverpool versus Leicester City. And going into this game, Liverpool fans, Liverpool players, and even Jurgen Klopp must be filled with some sort of optimism, belief, and confidence that we should be able to pick up all 3 points against a diabolical Leicester side right now as we speak. I feel like the game against Aston Villa away from home, we were back at our sparkling best, especially going forward with us creating so many chances, having so many opportunities at goal, and if it wasn't for Núñez, potentially we could have won the game by 5 or 6. That's how fluid, that's how dominant, that's how great we were going forward in that game. Players like Robertson stepped up, getting an assist, showing that he's still the best left back in the league, despite people still underrating him. We know Trent Alexander-Arnold going forward, there's never been a question mark about that. The way he's still whipping in balls, the way he got the assist before the assist in the first goal for Mohamed Salah, it was spectacular. He still had that vision to pick out Robertson to assist Salah. Núñez still obviously needs to clean up his game because he had so many chances he missed. So many chances you're thinking, how on earth did he not put the ball in the back of the net? Sometimes it was harder to miss. I still don't know how he's doing this, and it doesn't matter because we still got the result. And I feel like the fact that he's still putting himself in dangerous areas, he still has that great movement, that great understanding of reading where to be when it comes to when the ball gets put into the box and still having opportunities. I feel like it's rare in this day and age for strikers to have this sort of movement, and the fact he has this in his locker, it's only a matter of time until he starts firing goals on all cylinders. We're going against a Leicester City side who lost 3-0 at home to Newcastle, and don't get me wrong, Newcastle are no joke, but come on, you can't be conceding 2 goals in 7 minutes, especially going at Anfield. It's the first game back for the Liverpool fans at their home stadium. They're going to be ready to go, the fans are going to get up for it, and we know at Anfield teams usually get blown away in the first 20 to 25 minutes, so if Leicester City start really poor as they did in the last game against Newcastle, it can be goals galore. Leicester City are still missing key players at Maddison, who's still injured from the World Cup, obviously didn't even feature in that. Vardy coming off the bench for Dakar. Is he going to be match fit? Because we know he has the ability to stretch Liverpool's back line, and Dakar on the front line, he hasn't really been doing it this season, and he hasn't really been doing it for Leicester ever since he's come. I just feel like Leicester City are not going to be good enough to beat Liverpool, especially at Anfield. It is going to be a tall ask for them to do so, especially them not having their best players. It will be interesting to see if Brendan Rodgers reverts back to a 5-3-2 formation like he does in the big games to have that extra protection, because you know defensively they do like getting blown out. We saw against the bigger sides like Arsenal and Tottenham conceding 10 goals I think in those 2 fixtures, and we know Liverpool have the firepower going forward and one of the best sides in Europe when it comes to scoring goals. So I think it's a no-brainer. Liverpool should win this game quite comfortably. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for Liverpool at Anfield within this fixture. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Brighton versus Arsenal. And don't get me wrong, obviously Arsenal entered this game as the favourites, but they cannot underestimate Brighton this season, who have been playing so great. They have literally picked up where they've left off when obviously the international break, and have shown that although Potter has laid the foundations for De Zerbi, he's been able to progress and develop the side to make them even better. We saw in the last game against Southampton, De Zerbi putting his own stamp on the team, reverting from a 5 at the back to a 4-2-3-1, getting the best out of his dynamic quick wingers of Marsh and Matsumo, who we know are devastating to any team which they come against. So Arsenal's right back and left back have to be wary of this, especially since we know Zinchenko, if he starts unfit enough, loves to create and not great defensively. So we'll see if Brighton can just exploit this sort of weakness in Arsenal's armour. Also, we know Brighton in their last 3 fixtures against Arsenal have not lost. They have won, in fact, their last 2 games against Arsenal. One of them, obviously, this season in the Carabao Cup, and the other being at the Emirates last season in the business end of the Premier League season. So going into this game, do Brighton actually have Arsenal's number, or do you think this is not a big enough sample size to judge that Arsenal will actually lose this fixture? But at the end of the day, I cannot lie. Arsenal are the favourites. The resolve they had, the determination to not obviously let the occasion overwhelm them like we've seen in seasons past, like last year when obviously they felt the pressure of getting top 4. They went 1-0 down to West Ham but still clawed a way back, and this has become a noticeable pattern within this Arsenal side. It doesn't matter if they go down, they will come back. They have the patience, they have the calmness, and it just feels like they have the confidence in Arteta that he'll get them out of jail with certain substitutions or consistently playing his brand of football. We saw against Fulham this season already going 1-0 down, they were able to come back. Their last game going 1-0 down, able to come back. This is a new Arsenal side, and the fact they have this mentality and attitude is going to pay them dividends going into this tough away game fixture, especially if Brighton get the first goal. It's going to be a tough contest because we know Brighton already this season against the big boys have been playing well. They obviously battered Chelsea at home. They battered Manchester United at Old Trafford. They got a 3-3 draw against Liverpool at Anfield. So against the big sides, we know they will step up and they're not frightened of the occasion. But at the end of the day, I cannot doubt Arsenal. The way they've been playing, it feels like they've picked up where they left off. And then Nketiah has shown signs that potentially, maybe, he can be Arsenal's replacement when Jesus is on the road to recovery. I'm going to go for a tight contest, a 2-1 away victory for Arsenal within this fixture. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Tottenham Hotspur versus Aston Villa. And going into this game, I'll be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. And it feels like this every single time Tottenham play a Premier League fixture. They love going 2-0 down, but when you feel like they're dead and buried, they suddenly come back and score 2 to 3 goals. We saw this against Leeds, we saw this against Bournemouth, and now we saw this against their latest opponents, Brentford. They looked like they were past it. It looked like they were going to lose, but somehow they summoned the strength and the passion to get back into the game and get a draw against Brentford. Although this is a very good sign of being champions or even getting a top 4 place, because we know they're challenging for that and you need to grind out results you don't really deserve. This can't be your format of playing every single week, because when you verse a team which is actually good, you're going to get caught out and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Luckily for Tottenham Hotspur, I don't feel like Aston Villa are that side. So even if they go down 1-0, they'll potentially come back and win 2-1 or 3-1 like they usually do this season. Aston Villa, however, are no joke. I watched the game against Liverpool, and although they lost 3-1, I feel like the game was much closer as it actually seemed. Aston Villa with Watkins and Bailey up front as a duo is very, very daunting. They got the pace, the strength, the agility, the dribbling skills to get past players, and we know in the last game against Brentford, Dyer was absolutely atrocious. Tanganga, nowhere really to be seen. Without Romero, their leader, the guy, their best player in the defensive line, and obviously Lloris is a massive upgrade compared to Foster. They look ordinary at the back. Even if you try, obviously, cover the holes with a 3 at the back, you can take advantage of that Tottenham side. So, especially in the mid-block, when Aston Villa love to counter and win the ball in the midfield like they did to Liverpool, I feel like they can get so much joy against Tottenham within this game. And we know Emery's side are stubborn, disciplined, and they know how to defensively execute a well thought out game plan. So going into this game, however, I feel like Tottenham will win. I feel like I'm going to stop doubting them. They always find a way to pick up points from a losing position. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory for the home side within this fixture. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. And going into this game, Chelsea should be obviously the overwhelming favourites to win this fixture. And we know what Graham Potter said in his last interview as Chelsea manager. He literally said, look, the international break came at the perfect time. It allowed us to rest mentally and physically and get back to the tail end of this Premier League season. They needed that reset button so they can come in fresh, rejuvenated, and potentially start to build a rhythm. And we saw this the game against Bournemouth, and I know Bournemouth are a terrible side. Bournemouth are probably going to get relegated, and that should not be the standard of what Chelsea performances should be at, of obviously being impressive. But at the end of the day, Chelsea have been really poor under Graham Potter, especially in their last 5-6 fixtures or so. They look clueless, lacked ideas, lacked thought, lacked real pace in terms of their movement, lacked great intensity when it comes to pressing. But in this fixture against Bournemouth, they had great balance. It felt much more of a team performance rather than individuals trying to bail them out of trouble. I feel like the partnership of Zachary and Jorginho provided Chelsea stability, great balance. They complemented each other's games well, because we know Zachary as a holding midfielder loves to put out danger, give the ball quickly to Jorginho to find the front men. And I feel like Kai Havertz had a great game, getting a goal and assist, and that's what the Chelsea need from him. He needs to make those penetrating runs. We know he's a classy, silky baller who loves to pick up the ball and drift into pockets and make things happen. But if you're going to be centre forward of Chelsea, you need to bust a gut. Try get on the end of things, because possession doesn't win you games. Goals win you games, and this is what Kai Havertz needs to add into his repertoire and Arsenal if Chelsea have a real chance of obviously finishing in the top 4 this season. Wingers provided Chelsea with natural width, created more space for Mason Mount to pick up the ball in pockets to link up with Kai Havertz, so that was great as well. Reece James is going to be a massive miss, but going into this game against Nottingham Forest, we saw against Manchester United, they were dreadful, they were quite poor, and I feel like Liam Cooper is still trying to incorporate his 14 new signings, and it doesn't still feel like they are a team as of yet. Gibbs White, we know, was a massive signing for Nottingham Forest, with his pace, his penetrating runs, his ability to obviously take players on. They're missing this. Lingard, he's going to be missing for a while now since he's injured. So Nottingham Forest, real attacking threat, their flair, their energy in the final third is going to be missing. And I can't see them scoring a goal against Chelsea, who performed very well defensively against Bournemouth. So going into this game, I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory for Chelsea within this game. So the next game I'm going to be predicting is Wolves versus Manchester United, and going into this fixture, Manchester United are obviously the clear favourites. However, they cannot underestimate Wolves. We saw at Monolou last season, Manchester United were so fortunate that David De Gea was back at his sparkling best, his great double save to literally save them the win. Manchester United weren't at their best, and I know it's going to be a tough, fierce contest away from home. However, apart from that, it's undeniable to say that Manchester United so far have been performing well. The balance and the chemistry of Eriksen and Casemiro has provided Manchester United with a formidable duo in the midfield, which they have lacked for the last 9 to 10 years or so. It's truly a genuine world-class midfield they have at their disposal. Rashford is undeniable as well, that going forward, when he has the confidence, when he has the belief in himself, he's one of the most frightening wingers within the Premier League, and he's shown that he's also able to get goals within his game, that Ten Hag has foreseen that he is able potentially to get 20 goals within a league season campaign. Also, Martial getting a goal, that's going to do his confidence to the world of good, especially since he's going to be Manchester United's key talisman for the foreseeable future, because he's Manchester United's only registered striker as we speak at the club. However, although I gave Manchester United all this praise, Wolves won against Everton, and potentially that's going to provide them with great confidence and belief that they can get a result against Manchester United. That was Lopetegui's first win, and the thing is, we always know that Wolves have great attacking flair players who can literally take games to oppositions. However, they weren't able to get the right manager at the helm previously to get the best out of them. Lopetegui's in, we know how successful he was at Sevilla. We know how great he has been as a manager at all these clubs. And we know potentially he could get the best out of these Portuguese players when we know when they're at their best, when they got their mind right, they can get results like we saw at Goodison Park against Everton. However, I feel like it's going to be a step too far for Wolves. I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory for Manchester United within this fixture. Thank you guys for watching my video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, who you think is going to win, and I'll see you in the next one.